another team I get frustrated by is a former team of yours, and I want to talk about them, the Orioles. And they actually feel like they're in a better position, a team that could be dominant over the next decade with what they got going on right now. But I just don't feel like they add the starting pitching that they need to. It feels so obvious from the outside. You need a top end of the rotation kind of guy, and you need another arm in that rotation, but they don't seem to be doing it. And for a year and a half now, it's felt like that's the case. And then they get exposed in the playoffs. And I know the young guys didn't have experience and they couldn't hit, and it was slower bats. And I understand that, but it just seems so obvious that they need an ace of a staff kind of guy. They need to add around this young core, and they're not doing it. So, Adam, Baltimore Orioles, what's going on there, and what do they need to do?
Well, first off, what Mike Elias has done and this team is unbelievable. When I left the organization, it was some it was tough throughout the organization. And what he's done, and again, there's a lot of guys that are still there in the organization with Cedric Mullins, D.L. Hall, who are draft picks, and Grayson Rodriguez, who are draft picks from when I was there. I think it's time. And I think, baseball fans in Baltimore understand that. They've understood that when he came in, there's going to be a rebuild. There's going to be years of 100 losses, and you're not going to like it. And the fans understood that. They're like, okay, well, we've seen what you guys did at Houston. We're going to see what we can do here. And they've done that. I think what Elias has done is fulfilled every goal so far. Obviously, the championship is the most important, but now he's created so much capital with the prospects that he has. But again, I think the fans want to see a big name. The fans want to see a Cease. They want to see a Snell, a Montgomery. Now, I wouldn't say guarantee go get a Snell or Montgomery. Those are free agent pitchers, but they want to see just a front line rotation guy. And that was always one thing I always said is like, just give me an ace. Again, we had pitchers who competed on a daily basis, and I love every starter that I've ever had. I went out there and grinded for whoever it is. But I just wanted a bona fide ace. And that just, I think, moves everybody down into a slot that they're supposed to be in.
Yeah.
And, it's no slight on the person. Everybody wants to consider himself an ace, and that's exactly how you're supposed to approach it. The reality of it is there's only a handful of aces out there. And I think they have a very, very good opportunity to go get one or two, both ways, obviously via free agency or through the trade deadline. Not trade, but via trade. And I just think that the fans understand that, okay, this is our time. We got great prospects. We got great prospects coming back through the pipeline. But also right now we're poised to win. And again, that the Yankees are going to do something. The Red Sox are going to do something. That the Blue Jays are going to do something. But I still don't think that they're as good. They have to go spin to be as good, in my opinion, because the natural talent that comes through the organization, the Orioles have, I think, everybody beat in the division. So I think it's time to just add that extra piece that just puts you over the top and makes you, not just a good team, but a bona fide contender. And that's the way they're headed. Again, are they going to make a move? I don't know. But what I do know is that in-house, they have a lot of confidence in the guys. Bradish had a hell of a year. Can he repeat? Kramer had a hell of a year. Can he repeat? You get a healthy John Means coming off Tommy John. He threw some innings at the end of the year. I think they're going to compete, and I think they're going to be great. But can you add another piece to make them better? Always can. Always.
Yeah, I think, Adam, I think that's where my frustration comes from is seeing how good the team is. And look, everything you said at the beginning, I completely agree with. And I don't want it to seem, it's no slight to what they've built. They were the number one seed in the American League. And that, Mike Elias came over and has done an incredible job. And it just feels like it is time, like you said. And a team that, I will root for close to my hometown team. I loved going up to Camden Yards as a kid, and I loved taking in games at that ballpark. And when the Orioles are good, it is so much fun to be at Camden Yards and see all that orange and black pile into the stadium. And it just feels like they are a piece or two away, pitching-wise, from being, again, number one seed in the American League. You can't argue with that, but an even more juggernaut in the American League in the future. So there are pieces out there. I'll ask you, from the outside looking in, who would you like to see the Orioles sign or trade for before this season gets started?
And let's not forget they signed a 30-year lease, so that's very important.
Yeah.
Knowing that they're going to be there. Um, Outside looking in, obviously front of the line starter uh, to just ease everybody. Obviously Dylan Cease. I think because you can get him for you have 2 years of him,
Yeah.
because I think his next year, it's 2 years. So again, through arbitration, you can factor in a number. Free agency, that's a completely different number. You never know what that number is. So for him, you can buy his services for 2 years, maybe sign him to an extension. I don't know that part, but you can project his numbers. Corbin Burns, you're gonna have to give up the number through arbitration, the biggest stage. And but those are the two. When it comes to the arms, those are the guys that I really think of. And unless you want to go trade, I think there's a couple arms in Seattle. Dipoto looks very aggressive up there. I wouldn't mind getting Logan. What's Logan?
Gilbert.
The hard throwing righty.
Gilbert.
Logan Gilbert.
Yep.
Ooh, hey, that guy's got big league stuff. So I think there's a lot of guys via trade through different organizations. I don't know how many guys through free agency they're willing to spend.
Yeah.
Snell, you see, is being dragged along. I mean, he had a fantastic year last year. So I don't know what his future is going to be. Same thing with Montgomery. He might go back to Texas. That's a great place for him. A barbecue place said they give him lifetime barbecue. Hey, that works for some people. So it might work for him.
Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.